Hey, small group leaders. We are in week 2 of our Life App commitment, and this is the training video for small groups 4th and 5th grade. So as we continue talking about commitment, which is making a plan and putting it into practice, we're talking about commitment in a big way, but specifically we're focusing on making a commitment to develop your faith disciplines. So last week we talked about practice hearing from God, learning how to listen for God. And so this week we're actually talking about praying and prayer and how to put that into practice. So one of the big emphasis that we're going to have this Sunday is on the Lord's Prayer. So you're going to see that your activities sort of revolve around that. The Bible story that they're going to hear is actually a fictional story about a girl named Cassie who actually has something happen in her family. She prays for God to change it, and He doesn't change it. And so this is a very real-life application of what prayer can do and what it's like, and that it's not a genie or a wish list and we get everything we ask for. So one of the things that we want to focus on, number one, is praying to God is not a rote prayer. When we teach the Lord's Prayer, we want to teach the sections of it and what they represent. And that when we pray to God, sometimes we don't always get the answer that we want. And so we want to be very real and authentic about what that prayer looks like for them. So your activities are as follows. Your main activity is called hands-on prayer, and it's with the Lord's Prayer. It's going to take a while, and actually you may just get to do this and one other thing, and that's maybe all you get to do. So what they're going to do is we're actually doing some painting, which I tend to avoid, but I thought this was a really cool activity. You're going to have a watercolor paint. So they're all going to have a piece of paper, watercolor paint. You're going to have the Lord's Prayer available for them to see. I'm probably going to put it maybe on a chart on a dry erase board. And they're going to watercolor paint the Lord's Prayer out on their sheet of paper. Now they're going to have to be real intentional about leaving room, like making sure they understand how much room they're going to need. So they're going to paint watercolor. You're going to let it dry and go to the next activity, which I'll tell you about in a minute. When you come back and it's dry, you're going to have them take a marker, a permanent marker. They're going to trace their hand on their sheet where they watercolored the Lord's Prayer. And then they're going to write 5 distinctive things that the Lord's Prayer does, what it focuses on, what it asks for. And so, it starts with honoring God. It starts with asking God for your wants and needs, asking God to help you show forgiveness and to be forgiven, and then guidance on how to do the right thing. And so this is something that they can actually take home with them and remind them how the Lord's Prayer works. So that's your main activity. So make sure you read that. Your second activity is a fun thing. It's a memory verse activity, and it's a team relay thing. It involves hula hoops and sticky notes with the memory verse that's split up. And what they're going to do is each team is going to have their own set of sticky notes and a hula hoop. And this is kind of fun. You're going to divide them up, and they're supposed to, one at a time, step into the hula hoop and then put their sticky note on the hula hoop. So whatever their word or phrase is. And they each take turns. You're going to try to get more and more, and you're going to try to get all of them in the hula hoop with all of the sticky notes stuck to the hula hoop. If they can't all fit, you want them to be holding on to the hula hoop with their sticky note on it. So however many kids you have, how that'll work. So it's fun trying to cram into the hula hoop. So that's a memory verse activity. Your third thing, like I said, you may not get to this. It's back to the Lord's Prayer. It's sitting in a circle. The Lord's Prayer is laid out on sheets of paper, divided up. They put their hands together, and then they take turns going around the circle saying lines of the Lord's Prayer. But when they say a line, they have to stand up but keep holding on, their hands pressed to the other person. So one by one, they're going to stand up in the group with their hands still connected, and then you have them sit down, do the same thing, repetitive. So again, they're sort of doing the Lord's Prayer, and it's repetitive for them. And then when you get at the end for prayer time, you kind of want to talk to them a little bit about how do they feel about prayer now? Do they feel different? Is it something different than what they thought it was? And just kind of discuss that before you get to your end time. Just a reminder, we have tweaked the format a little bit. We're actually starting 5 minutes earlier. We're starting with the welcome intro and then going to worship music. It gives us a breakup of standing and moving around, and it also gives small groups 5 more minutes. So hopefully that'll give us a little bit more time to do what we need to do. So Olivia is your MC. So thanks so much and have a good time.